Let's take a quick look at the recent error coin showcase auction held by Heritage. Let's start off with a great example of a split planchet error coin. In this case, a 1944 Lincoln cent that has obviously already seen quite a bit of circulation. A split planchet is an error that happens when impurities in the metal of the coining blank causes the disc to literally split into two halves. This can happen either before or after the coin is struck, leaving one half, in this case the obverse, perfectly struck and the other half with rough surface striations where the coin literally split apart. Graded by PCGS as XF45, this great little error coin was sold at auction for $144. Then let's look at a silver eagle coin from 1998 that has a rather obvious and severe struck through error on the obverse of the coin, right across Liberty's ankle and the words of "In God We Trust." According to the label on the PCGS slab, it was struck through a piece of plastic, and considering there is no real loss of details on the struck through elements, that does indeed seem likely. This coin was graded by PCGS as MS67 and at auction it attained a price of $252. Here we have a very nice example of what is known as an incomplete punch error or an incomplete punched planchet error. This error happens not in the minting press as usual, but instead when the planchets are being cut in the blanking press stage. It happens when the punch is not set properly and it will not cut all the way through the metal, but instead just leave an impression in the metal itself. The punch is then reset with a proper travel distance and a new planchet is cut, where a half-moon impression from the first incomplete punch is now left. When that planchet is then made into a new coin, we get something like this 1973 D Eisenhower dollar coin, graded by NGC as MS65. It managed to achieve a final price at auction of $1,680. Then we have a rather interesting numismatic artifact. This is an unused feeder finger for the 2000 Sacagawea dollar coin. A feeder finger is a consumable or replaceable part that forms a part of the minting press during normal operations. It is used to, as the name suggests, feed a blank planchet into the press and in between the two dies just before it is struck into a new coin. This example resides in an NGC slab and was inscribed by the mint as January 2000 Arrow $1. It sold at auction for $2,520. Then we have a rare mint error on a well-circulated Morgan dollar silver coin. In this case, an 1890 $0 from the New Orleans Mint that is struck about 7% off-center, leaving a sizable arc of unused surface between the 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock position on the obverse, as well as the corresponding elements north on the reverse of the coin. This coin is graded as VF30 by PCGS, meaning it likely circulated for quite some time before a collector pulled it from circulation. It attained a closing price at auction of $2,880. An error coin on a buffalo nickel is next in line. This is primarily a double-struck error coin, where the coin was not ejected from the press after being struck, and was then struck a second time. In this case, a second striking took place with about a 5% degree of clockwise rotation. This can be best seen on the letters of United States of America and the buffalo's head. There is also a small indent on the reverse of the coin just above the motto. I suspect that this was likely the result of a malfunction or possibly even a complete failure of the collar die, as a partial collar malfunction is also seen at the same time. This coin was graded by PCGS with a grade of MS64 and sold at auction for $3,840. There were also a few spectacular examples of bonded pairs or bonded group error coins on offer at the auction. A bonded pair happens when the ejector mechanism on the minting press fails or malfunctions, and a struck coin fails to eject from the press. Then, another coin blank or a planchet is fed into the press and is struck while the first coin is still in contact with the collar die. The force of the minting press then forces these two coins together and bonds them as a single fused unit. This can actually happen multiple times over. Here is a bonded pair where the inner zinc core of the penny has become exposed. It receives a photo grade from NGC of MS64 red and sold at auction for $1,800. Then there was this bonded pair of Lincoln cents dated as 1981. The absence of a visible mint mark would indicate that the coin originated at the Philadelphia Mint, with a clear die cap on the obverse side of the coin, creating a distinctive cup shape of a die cap. This coin is an extract from the Fred Weinberg collection and is graded by PCGS as MS63 red. When the auctioneer's gavel fell on this coin, it had reached $2,280 to close. To take things up a notch from there, let's present this bonded group of 3 planchets all struck as Lincoln pennies from 1999. Again, the Philadelphia Mint is in question. The stretching and deforming of each successive planchet as it was struck again and again and again to form this bonded group of 3 Lincoln cents has created a rather pleasing marble effect in the metal, as the zinc core of the coin was forced to intermingle with the copper cladding on the penny planchets. Authenticated by NGC with a photo grade of MS64 red, it sold by auction's close for $3,840. And then one last bonded group. This time, again, it is 3 pennies from the Philadelphia Mint in 1999. But here we have a bit of a die cap error happening at the same time. And interestingly, we can clearly see the obverse and reverse impressions. And on the obverse running across Lincoln's forehead, now this is hard to tell, as it can either be a lamination error or a severe die crack, but I think it does appear to be a die crack instead. So multiple things happening here at the same time. Again, a photo grade from NGC for MS64 red brown saw this coin achieve $4,680 at auction. Then we have this beautiful example of a transitional error coin from the Kennedy half-dollar series. In this case, it is a 1977 Kennedy half-dollar from the Denver Mint struck on a 40% silver planchet instead of the usual copper-nickel clad coins that we have become so used to. You see, in 1976, the US Mint issued special collector's sets with 40% silver bicentennial commemorative coins, and it seems that somehow some of these silver planchets made their way to the Denver Mint, where they were processed and minted as regular circulation coins in 1977, netting you this essentially wrong planchet transitional era coin. This example saw light circulation at one point and is graded by NGC as AU55, and by auction's close it had sold for $5,040. Subscribe to WNN and activate all notifications with the bell icon to know when new videos are released. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.